Let me ask you something real today. When was the last time you truly focused on yo? Not on who's following you, not on what they're saying about you, not on what you don't have yet, but you. Your growth, your mindset, your habits, your purpose. Because let me tell you something, you are the foundation of your future. See, we live in a world that's constantly pulling at our attention. Social media, opinions, comparison, distractions. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life chasing validation instead of building value. You'll be so focused on the noise outside that you'll forget the power God placed inside you. But here's the truth. Nothing around you will change until something within you shifts. Everything you're praying for, the breakthrough, the elevation, the success, the peace, it's not waiting for perfect conditions. It's waiting for a focused you. You don't need to fix the world. You don't need to fix people. You don't even need to fix the economy. You just need to fix your focus. And the moment you decide to lock in on your growth, your discipline, your identity, your vision, everything around you begins to respond. Doors start to open. Relationships start to shift. Opportunities begin to chase you, not the other way around. But it all begins the moment you say this: I'm done watching. I'm done waiting. I'm done wasting time. It's my season to focus on me, and not in a selfish way, but in a sacred way. Because when you become the version of you that God intended, strong, grounded, disciplined, bold, life doesn't just work, it aligns. And that's what we're about to dive into. Let's talk about why when you focus on yourself, everything else begins to fall into place. Let's talk about why when you focus on yourself, everything else begins to fall into place. Because here's the first truth you've got to understand: your life is a mirror of your inner world. Everything that's showing up in your life right now is not random, it's a reflection. A reflection of your mindset, your beliefs, your habits, and your energy. See, life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you who you are. You can't expect clarity around you if there's confusion within you. You can't expect stability in your life when there's chaos in your spirit. You can't expect abundance on the outside when you're operating from a place of lack on the inside. That's why focusing on yourself is not a motivational idea. It's a life principle. You want to shift your finances, start with your mindset. You want to elevate your relationships, start with your self-worth. You want to multiply results, start with mastering your thoughts. Because until you deal with what's going on in here, nothing will change out there. And I get it. People want quick results. They want hacks and shortcuts. But let me tell you, real transformation starts internally. You can't patch external problems with internal dysfunction. You've got to go deep. You've got to be honest. You've got to say, wait a minute. The common denominator in every room I walk into is ME. That's not blame. That's power. That means if I shift, everything shifts. So if your life is giving you stress, chaos, stagnation, don't look for someone to blame. Look in the mirror and ask, what am I tolerating? What am I believing? What am I feeding my mind every day? Well, because your outer world will always expand or shrink to match the level of your internal world. And the moment you begin to fix the root, your thinking, your confidence, your discipline, the fruit takes care of itself. You're the thermostat, not the thermometer. You don't just reflect the environment, you set the temperature. So if your relationships are off, your energy is low, or your opportunities feel stuck, it's not the environment. It's time to check your settings. And listen, that's good news, because it means you're not waiting on permission. You're not waiting on people. You're not waiting on the economy. You're just waiting on you. And once you understand that your life mirrors your internal state, the next question becomes, what are you doing with that awareness? Because realization without discipline is just inspiration that dies in the dark. Let me make this clear. You don't rise to the level of your potential. You fall to the level of your habits. That's why discipline is not punishment. It's preparation. Discipline is how you train your mind, your body, and your spirit to handle the weight of what you're asking God for. Everybody wants freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of finances, freedom from stress. But here, mate, freedom isn't free. It's bought and paid for by daily decisions. It's earned in the quiet moments when nobody is watching, when your alarm goes off and you get up anyway, when your feelings say quit but your spirit says grind, when distractions call your name but you stay locked in. That's the power of focus. That's the price of greatness. See, too many people are hoping their future will change while their habits stay the same. But hope without work is empty. God blesses action. Heaven honors commitment. When you decide to master your mornings instead of scrolling through them, when you feed your mind with wisdom instead of worry, when you train your body, not just for looks, but for discipline, when you create before you consume, that's when you start to unlock a level of confidence that can't be shaken by setbacks. Let me tell you, discipline doesn't take, it gives. It gives you momentum. It gives you clarity. It gives you strength under pressure. You'll stop second guessing yourself because you'll have a track record with your own soul. You'll trust yourself because you know the work you've put in behind the scenes. And when you move like that, when you move with purpose, with integrity, with consistency, life responds. People start to take you seriously. Opportunities find you. Favor follows you, not because you're lucky, but because you've been faithful. So if you really want to focus on yourself, it starts by owning your daily decisions. That's where the shift happens. Not when you get the job, not when the business blows up, not when everybody claps for you. No, the shift happens when you show up on a Tuesday with no audience, no applause, just vision and discipline. That's where champions are made. That's where breakthrough begins. And that's the kind of focus that makes everything else fall into place. And once discipline starts working in your life, something powerful begins to happen. Your energy shifts. You're no longer running on emotion. You're running on alignment. And when that alignment clicks in, you'll start to realize something else. You were never meant to compete. You were born to create. See, one of the biggest killers of progress today is comparison. You start something with excitement, with fire, with vision, and then what do? You get online. You start scrolling. You see someone else doing what you do, maybe better, maybe louder, maybe faster, and suddenly your confidence starts shrinking, not because you're not called, but because you're too focused on someone else's lane. Let me tell you a hard truth. You cannot run your race while staring at someone else's track. That's why so many people stay stuck. They're not out of purpose. They're out of focus. God gave you a vision. He gave you a lane. And the moment you start watering your own soil instead of envying someone else's harvest, that's when growth happens. There is no competition when you're in your calling. Because when you're focused on becoming the best version of you, the right people, the right clients, the right audience, they will be drawn to your authenticity, not your imitation. You've got to understand something. Your difference is your advantage. Your story, your scars, your rhythm, your voice, it's not meant to match the crowd. It's meant to cut through the noise. But you can't access that creative power while your mind is cluttered with competition. You've got to shut out the noise and tap into your source. That means spending time creating in silence. It means saying no to distractions that look productive but are really just detours. It means refusing to let someone else's highlight reel make you question your process. And the moment you do that, you start to produce from a deeper place, not just content, but clarity, not just work, but worth. You begin building things that last, not because they trend, but because they're true. So stop competing. Start creating. The marketplace doesn't need more copies. It needs creators with conviction. And you'll only become that when your eyes are off their page and locked on your own purpose. Because when you're fully focused on becoming who you were designed to be, you no longer chase validation, you walk in vision. And vision always outpaces competition. And when you finally stop competing and start creating, you begin to sense something even deeper. You feel the weight of peace trying to enter your life. But here's the truth most people miss. Peace doesn't just arrive. Peace must be protected. Because the moment you start rising, the moment you start building, the moment you shift into alignment, distractions come knocking louder than ever. People start pulling on your time. Opinions start flooding your mind. Drama tries to sneak back in through doors you already closed. And if you're not intentional, you'll end up in rooms God never sent you to, having conversations that drain your energy, chasing things that have nothing to do with your assignment. Let me be clear. You cannot build a future if you're constantly managing chaos. You cannot focus on yourself if your energy is always being leaked into other people's drama, negativity, and noise. That's why this next part is critical. You've got to start guarding your peace like your destiny depends on it, because it does. Some of you need to realize peace is not powerful. It's not soft. It's strategic. And if you don't protect it, you'll always be operating in reaction mode instead of creation mode. That means setting boundaries, not out of pride, but out of purpose. You don't owe everyone access to you. You don't need to respond to every message, every critic, every invitation, because not every open door is a divine opportunity. Some are distractions dressed up as blessings. There's a version of you that is so laser focused, so filled with clarity that drama can't even find you. Why? Because you've matured past the chaos, because you've chosen peace over performance, because your mind is calm, your spirit is rooted, and your eyes are on your purpose, not on the noise. And let me say this with love. Some of the confusion in your life right now isn't an attack, it's a lack of boundaries. You've got to stop babysitting dysfunction just because it's familiar. You've got to stop explaining your peace to people who benefit from your disorder. You've got to stop letting people drag you back into versions of yourself you already outgrew, because when you protect your peace, you protect your power. And when your mind is still, your vision sharpens. When your environment is clean, your creativity flows. When your soul is rested, your spirit hears clearly. That's when alignment accelerates. That's when you start walking into rooms with authority, not anxiety. That's when the right connections, the right ideas, the right opportunities begin to flow toward you, because you've created space for them. So don't just detox your body. Detox your environment. Don't just clean your calendar. Clean your spirit. You're not just building a future. You're cultivating peace so that your future has a strong foundation to land on. And once your peace is in place, something powerful begins to rise inside you, a new awareness, a new identity. You start to realize, I can't go back to who I was. I can't keep operating at the level I've outgrown. Because now you've tasted clarity. You've felt alignment. You've seen what focus can produce. And with that comes the call to elevate your standards. This is where the real shift happens, not just in your actions, but in your expectations, because you will never rise above the level of what you tolerate. You'll never build something great while accepting average. You can pray all you want, but if your standards are low, your results will follow suit. And this isn't about arrogance. This is about alignment with purpose. You weren't created to live in survival mode. You weren't called to play small just to keep people comfortable. You weren't born to blend in with mediocrity. There is greatness on your life. But greatness requires guardrails. You've got to decide, what are you no longer available for? What attitudes, what relationships, what patterns, what self-sabotage are you done entertaining? Because every time you compromise your standard, you delay your own elevation. Every time you say, if it's okay, when you know it's not, your soul shrinks a little. And eventually you stop expecting more because you've trained yourself to settle for less. But when you raise your standard, when you start walking like you know you're royalty, when you start speaking like your words carry weight, when you start executing like your time is valuable, everything shifts. People either rise to meet you or they fall away. New doors open, not because of luck, but because your energy changed, because you started carrying yourself with the dignity of someone who knows their value. That's the difference between chasing and attracting. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you've become. So the question is not, what do you want to achieve? The real question is, who do you need to become to live that life? That's why the work is always inward first. You don't build the dream by hustling harder. You build it by becoming the person who belongs in that dream. The version of you who doesn't beg for respect, they command it. The version of you who doesn't chase peace, they live in it. The version of you who doesn't fear the future, they build it. And when that version becomes your standard, you'll watch your environment upgrade to match it. Not because everything around you changed overnight, but because you changed and life had no choice but to respond. So stop asking for the next level until you're willing to become the person who can carry it, because your life will never go beyond what your identity can sustain. But when you focus on becoming, not just doing, not just having, but becoming the version of you who lives, leads, and loves at a higher level, that's when you'll look up and realize everything you were trying to fix, force, and figure out has already started falling into place. So now you know the secret. It's not about chasing the world or fixing what's outside. It's about turning your gaze inward. It's about focusing on yourself with relentless discipline, unwavering peace, and elevated standards. Because when you do that, when you decide to invest in protect your energy, and commit to becoming the person you're meant to be, something miraculous happens. Everything starts to fall into place. Doors open without you knocking. Opportunities find you without you searching. Relationships deepen without you forcing. Your purpose begins to breathe, and your destiny starts to unfold in ways you never imagined. But let me remind you, this journey is not always easy. You will face doubts, you will face setbacks. The world will try to pull you back into distraction and doubt. But remember, the power is in your focus. The power is in your decision to stay true to yourself. The power is in your commitment to keep building, even when no one's watching. You are not here by accident. You have a purpose bigger than your fears, stronger than your struggles, and greater than your circumstances. So stand firm, keep your eyes on your own path, build yourself up daily, speak life over your dreams, and trust the process, because when you focus on yourself, the universe aligns. When you work on your character works for you. When you grow into your calling grows through you. And in that sacred place, all the pieces, every challenge, every blessing, every trial, begin to fit together. Your vision comes into sharp focus. Your peace becomes unshakable. Your life, it starts to look exactly like it was meant to. So start today. Make the choice to focus on yourself. Become the architect of your own destiny. And watch with faith and expectation as everything falls into place.